K-popers, and welcome back to Hallyu. Today we're going to take a close look at the Woollim girl group Lovelyz, a group who despite their many innocent and cute concepts had a dark secret surrounding their debut. We'll start by looking at that debut and then talk in depth about the shocking scandal that was actively silenced by their label. Then we'll talk about how the girls kept building momentum despite this controversy, as well as how they became the rock solid and dependable girl group that we know today. And finally, we'll see what's next for the girls as they enter their 7th year as a group. Before we get started, a quick thank you to Hallyu's honorary producers. Hallyu's patrons get to show off their bias group right here in every video, they get to have their say in future videos and projects on the channel, and they get access to the official Hallyu Discord server where they can chat about K-pop and even listen to it together. So if you want to leave your mark on Hallyu and be a part of our growing community, come join us over on Patreon. So let's dive into this fascinating girl group's story. The story of Lovelyz begins in late 2014 with Woollim Entertainment announcing the girl group on November 5th of that year. Lovelyz consists of 8 members. Baby Soul, Jie, Jisoo, Miju, Kei, Jin, Sujung, and Yein. That same day, the girls released a pre-debut digital single called Goodnight Like Yesterday. The song has a gentle, heartfelt tone, and looking back, it really set the tone for Lovelyz's image for years to come as a cute, innocent girl group. They held their debut showcase 1 week later at the K-Art Hall in Olympic Park, and 1 day after that, they had their debut with the song Candy Jelly Love on M Countdown. On the 17th, the album was officially released and was called Girls Invasion, a callback to their senior label mates Infinite, whose debut album was called First Invasion. Now, if you're watching this debut performance closely, you might have noticed something odd. There's only 7 girls on stage, not 8. And that leads us to the reason I've called this start for the girls a dark debut. This is because one of the members, So Jisoo, withdrew from promotional activities. And this was a pretty big deal since after all, it was the group's debut, a critical time to set themselves up for success with a full lineup. So why was Jisoo absent from Lovelyz's debut? Well, it's a wild story, and out of an abundance of caution, I'm gonna offer a trigger warning for the next section of this video. Yes, it is that serious. So let me preface this by saying the generally accepted timeline of events here has been compiled by The Fact and is shown here. These are based primarily on recordings of conversations between the various parties involved and their lawyers. And as you'll see, there's a reason this is all the information that we have about it, because Woollim Entertainment wanted it that way. So, at the start of November 2014, a user on a community site by the name Jisoo Love posted that she had been involved in a relationship with Jisoo and that Jisoo sexually assaulted her. This included verbal assault as well as more serious acts including threats with nude pictures. This is obviously a very serious allegation against a trainee about to debut in a girl group, and so Woollim asked the police to immediately investigate the rumors posted by Jisoo Love and another minor now referred to as D. Now this is where things get very interesting and frankly shocking. During a recorded meeting in February between Jisoo Love, D, and other alleged victims and Woollim staff, the victims shared their stories and Woollim staff admitted, quote, "Her words and attitude are indeed sexual harassment and it's morally wrong." At another meeting in April, Woollim's lawyer told the accused, quote, "Promise that this will not happen again in the future. It's a stress for you to be present at the trial. Don't say anything even if the internet or a journalist asks you." 1 month later in May, Jisoo Love met with the Woollim lawyer to reach an agreement, which was that she would never post anything related to Jisoo anywhere online ever again, and if she did, she would be fined 100 million won, or about $90,000 US. And it gets even crazier. Jisoo Love filed a complaint against this agreement, and when it wasn't considered, her and her lawyer requested a formal trial for the case. Woollim's lawyers did not attend the trial date, and Jisoo's law firm has stated that they have records of them dropping the charges against Jisoo Love. So what on earth does all this mean? What was Woollim doing, and what can we learn from it? Well, it's clear that Woollim was very eager to get the police involved originally, but they became less eager as the case unfolded before their eyes. They resorted to intimidation and scare tactics, threatening a 100 million won fine if Jisoo Love posted anything further about the Lovelyz member. And most damning of all is the fact that Woollim and Jisoo's lawyers dropped the formal charges against the poster. To me, this indicates that Woollim realized that Jisoo wasn't completely innocent in this matter. This has all the earmarks of settling something outside of court to keep somebody quiet, and that is why we only know what was available as audio recordings of the meetings. We'll never truly know what, if anything, Jisoo did, but if she was completely innocent, the focus would not have been on privately settling the matter with the victims. And before anyone starts judging Lovelyz or Jisoo too harshly, I do feel obligated to point out that Lovelyz is still an 8-member group and have been solid for over 6 years, so clearly the other members are satisfied that Jisoo is a good person and hasn't done anything to them. Now with all of that out of the way, let's get back to the group, because Lovelyz did continue activities as 7 members while that scandal was going on. At the end of 2014, Lovelyz had a great performance of Maroon 5's moves like Jagger on SBS's Gayo Daejeon Festival, where they collaborated on stage with Red Velvet, GOT7, and Winner. Check it out. In March of 2015, Lovelyz had their first comeback with a repackage of their debut and the new song High. The girls also started expanding their horizons by joining KCON 2015 in Japan and performing at the Dream concert at Seoul's huge World Cup stadium. Finally, in late August of that year, Woollim announced that Jisoo would finally be returning for their next comeback, which included the pre-release single Shooting Star and the lead single Achu. Once again, Lovelyz was showing their dedication to the cute and innocent image, and why not? The girls are completely in their element with that concept. The big looming question for Lovelyz though was, how would fans react to Jisoo's return? Would they still have the support they did for their first 2 releases? The answer was yes. The EP Lovelyz 8 saw another jump in sales, approaching 25,000 copies and peaking at number 2 on the Gaon charts. With Jisoo back in the lineup and a successful comeback under their belts, it was time for Lovelyz to truly start their careers full steam ahead with all 8 members. And Lovelyz got a big boost to their popularity not much later when they performed Michael Jackson's hit Beat It a cappella on the October 31st broadcast of Yoo Hee-yeol's Sketchbook.
But you wanna beat it, beat it, beat it, beat it, no one wants to beat it, beat it.
Not only did this performance make waves in Korea, but it got people talking around the world. Just check out this broadcast from a Fox News morning show in the United States that covered it.
This is amazing stuff.
It's so clean and so, I mean, they bring such beauty to a song that we all love already.
Because of this extra attention, their current single Achu actually kept its charting position for several months beyond their initial release. And when the girls held their first fan meeting in December of that year, it sold out in just 5 minutes. Lovelyz stuck to their formula in the months and years that followed, and it worked very, very well for them. They went on to release For You, Destiny, and Wow over the next year or so and saw steady building sales, hitting over 44,000 for their album Are You Ready in late 2017. But despite the successful comebacks, the reality shows, and the concerts they were holding, one thing had still eluded Lovelyz: a music show win. That takes us to their second repackaged album, which featured the single Now We. This is personally my favorite Lovelyz song, and it soared to the top of Gaon's chart as soon as it came out. Then, while attending the show 911 days after their debut, this. The reaction from the girls here is incredible. You can really see how happy and emotional they are. They even made the Dia members behind them cry too. Since then, Lovelyz has continued being the shining example of a solid, dependable, and successful girl group. They've gone on to release more great songs like That Day, When We Were Us, Lost and Found, and more, and their sales have been steady and kind. The girls even eclipsed the 50,000 sales mark for their album Once Upon a Time in 2019. So what's next for this Woollim girl group? Well, I think the key to their future lies in a couple of their most recent comebacks. The group's latest lead track was Obliviate, which was a clear departure from their previous concepts and image, and the girls did a commendable job with that comeback. And along the same lines, we had Soojung's single, Tiger Eyes. This was a fierce solo debut and was once again a distinct style musically and visually compared to the group's prior releases. So I think we're in the midst of a big shift for Lovelyz, and while some people may be apprehensive about that, I think this is exactly what Lovelyz needed. And the reason I think so is because when I look at Lovelyz, I see shades of Apink. This is a girl group who are experts at cute and innocent songs, much like Apink. They built their brand on songs like Candy Jelly Love, Achu, and For You. But there's only so many ways that you can do a cute concept with the same group, and as the girls get older, it only makes sense for them to try something new. Like I talked about in my Apink deep dive, that reinvention can be a breath of new life and hype around the group, and it's been a big reason why Apink are still going strong today. So I think Woollim should double down on this new artistic image that Lovelyz has been exploring recently, and if they execute it well, it will open up a whole new world of possibilities for these 8 girls. Alright guys, that is the story of the girl group Lovelyz. How do you feel about the dark spots surrounding their debut, and where do you think the group is headed next? I'm curious to hear your thoughts down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe because we explore a new story like this and enjoy lots of other K-pop content every single week right here at Hallyu. This has been deep dive number 37, Lovelyz.